A company out of Nanjing just put a flying motorcycle on sale for $69,000. And it is not a concept, not a render or a prototype sitting behind a velvet rope at a tech conference. Pre-orders are open right now on JD.com, one of China's biggest online marketplaces. And the specs on this thing are wild enough that you need to hear them out before you decide whether to take it seriously. The vehicle is called the Kuickwheel Skyrider X6. It's a three-wheeled electric motorcycle on the ground, reverse trike layout, 2 wheels at the front, 1 at the rear, and when you press a button, 6 rotor arms unfold from the frame, and it becomes a personal drone. A drone you sit inside, one that flies at 44 miles per hour. The same vehicle handles both. No trailer, no transport. You ride it to the launch pad and take off. That's what we're dealing with here. And the story of how this machine actually exists is just as interesting as the machine itself. Kuickwheel wasn't supposed to build this. Most people outside of China have never heard of Kuickwheel. That's fair, as the company built its reputation on electric scooters and micromobility products, which is exactly why the Skyrider X6 feels like it came out of nowhere. But here's the thing. Kuickwheel spent years obsessing over the same engineering problems that flying vehicles need solved. Lightweight frames, efficient electric motors, compact battery systems, and keeping weight low without sacrificing structural integrity. When you look at it that way, the jump from electric scooter to flying motorcycle is less of a leap and more of a logical extension. The muscle was already there, they just pointed it in a different direction. The X6 was developed under Kuickwheel's Richter brand, their premium innovation division. Their first public showing was the Skyrider X1 at CES 2025 in Las Vegas. 8 rotors, retractable wheels, the whole thing. The internet lost its mind. But critics were quick to point out that the X1 was very much still a prototype. No completed flight test data, documentation gaps, no delivery timeline in sight. Kuickwheel took the feedback seriously. 6 months later, they launched the X6. Cleaner design, 6 rotors instead of 8, refined chassis, and crucially, an actual product page with an actual price and actual pre-order availability. That turnaround speed is something Western automakers genuinely cannot match. A legacy car company in that same scenario would still be scheduling the feasibility study for the committee that decides whether to greenlight the engineering review. Kuickwheel was already taking deposits and planning production runs, what it actually does. On the ground, the Skyrider X6 drives like a high-performance electric trike. Top speed is 70 kilometers per hour. That's about 43.5 miles per hour. And the range on a single charge stretches to 200 kilometers, or roughly 124 miles. For daily urban commuting, those numbers are more than sufficient. The mid-mounted rear-wheel drive system gives it genuine road stability, not the wobbly novelty you might expect from something that doubles as an aircraft. Then there's the part that makes this different from every other electric motorcycle on the market. Press a button, the 6 rotor arms unfold. The Skyrider X6 lifts vertically off the ground using a 6-axis, 6-rotor propulsion system and hits a maximum flight speed of 72 kilometers per hour, just over 44 miles per hour. The standard model comes with a 10.5 kilowatt-hour battery, which gives you around 20 minutes of flight time. Upgrade to the 21 kilowatt-hour battery variant, and that jumps to 40 minutes, with a flight range of up to 50 kilometers. 20 minutes doesn't sound like much until you do the math on what 20 minutes of flight time actually covers in a dense city. Kuickwheel claims aerial commuting could cut travel times significantly. For instance, reducing a 90-minute car trip in Shanghai to 15 minutes by air. That's not a marketing line. That's just distance divided by speed. And for anyone who has sat in that Shanghai traffic, or Manila traffic, or Jakarta traffic on a Monday morning, 15 minutes versus 90 minutes doesn't feel like a convenience upgrade. It feels like a different life. The controls are built for regular people. Here's where a lot of flying vehicle concepts fall apart. They assume the buyer is already a pilot, but Kuickwheel went the other direction. The X6 supports fully automated takeoff, landing, and route planning. You input a destination, and the vehicle handles the rest. Real-time weather and environmental adaptability adjust speed and altitude automatically. For the riders who want manual control, a joystick mode is there. But the automated system means a first-time user can get airborne without years of flight training behind them. That design decision matters enormously for adoption. The biggest barrier to personal flight has never been price. It's been complexity. If flying the vehicle requires the same skill level as flying a small plane, most people opt out regardless of the cost. That's not a niche problem. That's why the flying car has been a promise for 60 years without ever becoming a product. Kuickwheel understood that. They built the software to absorb the difficulty so the rider doesn't have to. And in doing so, they removed the single biggest reason most people would say no. How they built something that can do both. The Skyrider X6's body is made from carbon fiber composite and aviation-grade aluminum alloy to minimize weight. Same class of materials used in actual aerospace manufacturing. The goal is a frame strong enough for road use that's light enough to achieve vertical lift, and those two requirements are genuinely in tension with each other. Too heavy, and you can't fly. Too light, and the ground handling suffers. Kuickwheel's background in lightweight vehicle engineering is what let them thread that needle. The safety systems are layered. The rotors are powered by independent motors that can continue operating if one fails. The flight control unit has backup logic built in for variable conditions. A ballistic parachute system is designed to deploy automatically during critical failures. That's the same category of emergency parachute used on light aircraft. The fact that Kuickwheel put one on here tells you they're building this as a vehicle people will actually trust with their lives, not just a showpiece. The Skyrider X6 is equipped with a 10.5 kilowatt-hour large-capacity battery, compatible with widely popular automotive DC charging piles, enabling rapid charging to be completed in approximately 1 hour. No proprietary cables, no special setup. The cockpit is fully enclosed, with radar, LiDAR, and a camera network for collision avoidance and situational awareness during flight. In ground mode, the enclosure protects the rider from weather and road debris. In flight mode, it keeps them shielded at altitude, which matters at 44 miles per hour in open air. From the outside, this thing looks like a prop from a sci-fi film. From inside, it apparently drives and operates like any other EV, just one that can also leave the ground. Reasons anyone would actually buy this. Kuickwheel isn't being vague about the use cases. There are 3 scenarios they're targeting. Urban commuting is the primary one. The Shanghai example keeps coming up in their materials because it's the clearest illustration of what personal air mobility actually changes. It's not about flying for the sake of flying. It's about reclaiming hours of your life that traffic currently owns. The 15 versus 90-minute comparison is the kind of number that sticks, and it applies equally to every major congested city in Asia. Emergency transport is the second one, and this is actually where the dual-mode design makes the most practical sense. A vehicle that can drive on roads in normal conditions and lift off when road access is gone has obvious value in disaster response. Floods, earthquakes, typhoons, situations where ground routes are blocked and air access is everything. The Philippines experiences more than 20 typhoons a year. A machine that can navigate collapsed infrastructure isn't a luxury toy in that context. It's a serious tool. The automated route planning makes it viable even for operators without extensive flight training. The third use case, and probably the most immediate, is just that some people want to own the first flying motorcycle on Earth. The Skyrider X6's main rival in China is the Xpeng Aero HT flying car, priced at approximately 1.2 million yuan, approximately $166,000. Against that benchmark, $69,000 is the accessible entry point into personal flight. And for the early adopters who want to be in that first wave, that price tag looks very different. The honest complications. None of this comes without friction, and Kuickwheel has been transparent about it. The licensing situation in China is complicated. Low-altitude civilian airspace under 200 meters is not yet entirely legal in China. Kuickwheel will also have to obtain a light sport aircraft license, which will cost around 50,000 yuan, or approximately $6,900. So, the true out-of-pocket cost to actually fly the thing is closer to $76,000, before annual maintenance costs, which run between $2,800 and $4,200 per year. In Western markets, the US, Europe, Southeast Asia, the regulatory picture is even less defined. The rules for privately owned eVTOL vehicles are still being written in most countries. That will change, because the pressure to change it is only growing, but it hasn't changed yet. The honest read is that this is a real product with real technology that most buyers cannot yet use to its full potential. The regulations and infrastructure are still catching up. That's not a deal breaker. It's how every transformative vehicle category has launched. The automobile faced the same thing. The motorcycle faced the same thing. The drone industry is still navigating it in real time. The Skyrider X6 is at that exact inflection point where the technology is ready and the world is still figuring out how to receive it. Why China gets here first? This is the question worth sitting with. Why is a flying motorcycle coming out of China in 2025 and not from the US or Germany or Japan? The short answer is that China built the conditions for it. The government's investment in what it's calling the low-altitude economy is not small talk. It's in the 5-year plans. Urban air mobility pilot programs are active across multiple Chinese cities. The regulatory frameworks are under active construction with a clear intent to enable the industry, not just regulate it. When a company like Kuickwheel builds a flying motorcycle, they're doing it inside a system that wants them to succeed. The deeper answer is the manufacturing and engineering ecosystem. Chinese EV companies have spent the last decade developing exactly the capabilities the Skyrider X6 requires: high-density batteries, lightweight materials manufacturing, electric propulsion systems, and autonomous software. None of that had to be built from scratch for this project. It already existed. Kuickwheel assembled it into a new form factor. Compare that to the global flying car space, where Western companies have been burning venture capital for a decade with limited retail output. The Skyrider X6 is on sale. Xpeng's flying car is on sale. China's eVTOL sector crossed the line from R&D to retail, and the rest of the world is still watching. The flying motorcycle is no longer the future. It's a product you can buy today for $69,000 on a Chinese shopping platform. The regulations will eventually catch up. The infrastructure will catch up. And when they do, the company that already has years of real-world flying data, thousands of units in circulation, and a refined second-generation product ready to ship will have an insurmountable head start. China figured that out early. The rest of the world is still deciding whether to believe it. If you have the money, will you also like to own this flying motorcycle? Yes or no? Tell us your answer in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.